Ever heard of a company that's kind of like a financial chameleon? Adapts and thrives through any economic climate?
It's a rare breed, for sure. A company that just seems to defy the usual ups and downs of the market.
Totally. And get this company has stocks so valuable, a single share could buy you, like a house, a car, maybe even a yacht. Ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
Welcome to the Legacy of Giants podcast series, where we uncover the stories behind the world's most influential companies. Today, we are cracking open the vault on Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's legendary empire.
Yeah, it's interesting how Berkshire Hathaway's journey started, not on Wall Street, but with sewing machines in a textile mill.
Oh, wow. A real rags to riches story. Huh. Who knew that a simple textile company would become this, sprawling conglomerate?
It's true. It's a reminder that sometimes those unassuming beginnings can lead to, well, extraordinary outcomes. The original Berkshire Hathaway, founded way back in 1839, it was all about textiles. But, as the industry shifted and competition got tougher, the company started facing some pretty serious challenges.
And that's where Warren Buffett enters the scene, right? He saw potential in Berkshire Hathaway even when, everyone else was kind of turning away. He started buying shares in the early 60s. Eventually taking control in 65.
What's really fascinating is that Buffett wasn't even interested in turning the textile business around. He had a much bigger vision. He saw Berkshire Hathaway as a vehicle for his own investment philosophy, a way to build a portfolio of companies that would really stand the test of time.
So he used Berkshire Hathaway as a sort of investment mothership.
Exactly. But his approach was very different from, the typical Wall Street frenzy. He wasn't chasing the latest trends or making those risky bets on startups. He was looking for something different, something he called evergreen businesses.
Evergreen businesses. It sounds, kind of boring.
Yeah, maybe on the surface. But it's a really powerful strategy. Think of it this way. An evergreen business is like a sturdy oak tree. It's got deep roots, it weathers storms, and it just keeps growing steadily year after year. These are companies with strong fundamentals, like a durable competitive advantage,
Sure.
and a consistent ability to, generate cash flow.
Okay, so not flashy, but dependable.
Exactly.
That friend you can always count on?
Precisely. Buffett believed in investing in businesses that were, built to last. Think of companies like Geico, the insurance giant, or See's Candies, those delicious chocolates that seem to have been around forever.
Ah, See's Candies.
Mm.
Dangerous for my willpower.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you mean. They both have a long history,
Yeah.
solid reputation, and they're not going out of style anytime soon.
Exactly. And they've been incredibly profitable for Berkshire Hathaway. They really represent the core of Buffett's investment philosophy, buying high-quality businesses at reasonable prices and holding them for the long term.
So it's not about quick flips or chasing the next big thing. It's about finding those hidden gems that'll keep shining for years to come. It's like treasure hunting, but for companies.
Yes. And Buffett is a master treasure hunter. He's got a knack for identifying undervalued businesses with the potential for, long-term growth. He's not afraid to go against the grain, to zig when everyone else is zagging. For instance, while a lot of investors were pouring money into tech in the dot-com boom, Buffett mostly stayed away.
He must have some serious willpower to resist those kinds of trends.
He does. His discipline and patience are legendary. He's willing to wait for the right opportunities, even if it means, missing out on some short-term gains. And that approach has clearly paid off. But Berkshire Hathaway isn't just about a handful of, well-known companies. It's a huge empire with a, mind-boggling array of businesses.
Yeah, that's what we call a galaxy of brands. You've got your major insurance players like Geico and Gen Re, a reinsurance giant that, basically insures other insurance companies.
Talk about spreading the risk.
Right. And then you've got, household names, Dairy Queen, Duracell, Fruit of the Loom, and even that massive truck stop chain Pilot Flying J. It's like a real-life game of Monopoly.
It's true. It's a remarkably diverse portfolio, touching almost every corner of the economy. And the fact that Buffett has been able to successfully manage such a wide range of businesses is, really a testament to his business acumen.
Makes you wonder, does the man ever sleep? But speaking of incredible feats, let's talk about Berkshire Hathaway's stock price. Brace yourselves, because this one's a doozy. Class A shares are currently trading at over, wait for it, $500,000 per share.
Whoa, that's enough to buy a luxury apartment in Manhattan. It's really mind-boggling. And what's even more fascinating is that Buffett has resisted, splitting the stock. a move that would make it more affordable for the average investor.
Now, that's got to be a deliberate strategy, right? I mean, wouldn't he want more people to be able to invest in his company?
It's certainly a question many have asked. Buffett's rationale is that a high share price attracts a specific type of investor, one who's in it for the long haul. He wants shareholders who, believe in the company's vision and are willing to hold their shares for years, even decades. He's not interested in attracting day traders or speculators who are constantly buying and selling, creating volatility in the stock price.
So it's almost like a filter, a way to ensure that only the most dedicated investors are on board.
Exactly. It's a signal that Berkshire Hathaway is about building lasting value, not chasing short-term gains. And it's a testament to Buffett's conviction in his approach.
Okay, so we've got a company built on a philosophy of long-term value, a galaxy of brands, and a stock price that's higher than a penthouse apartment in Dubai.
But there's more to Berkshire Hathaway than just numbers, right? There's a certain mystique about the company, a culture that's almost as legendary as Buffett himself. Absolutely. It's a culture that's rooted in frugality, integrity, and a deep commitment to long-term thinking. Buffett himself is the embodiment of those values. He's known for his, modest lifestyle, still living in the same house he bought back in 1958, driving a car he bought used, and only taking a salary of $100,000 a year.
It's almost unheard of for a CEO of his stature. It's like he's saying, hey, I'm not in this for the fancy stuff. It's about building something that lasts.
Exactly. And that ethos permeates the entire organization. It's a culture that attracts, like-minded individuals, people who are more interested in building something meaningful than chasing those short-term profits.
And speaking of attracting like-minded individuals, let's talk about the legendary Berkshire Hathaway shareholder meetings, often dubbed Woodstock for capitalists. Thousands of people flock to Omaha every year, not just for the financial updates, but for the chance to, hear Buffett himself speak.
Yeah, it's more than just a business meeting. It's a celebration of value investing, a gathering of people who believe in the power of, long-term thinking. And Buffett uses these meetings to share his wisdom, his insights, and even his famous wit.
I've heard they're a blast. Part business conference, part comedy show.
There's definitely a sense of community, of shared values that makes these meetings so unique. It's a chance for people to connect with others who share their, investment philosophy and learn from the best in the business.
But even legends have to pass the torch eventually.
Right.
And that brings us to the recent news that, shook the business world. The appointment of Greg Abel as Buffett's successor.
Yeah, it's a really pivotal moment in Berkshire Hathaway's history. After decades at the helm, the Oracle of Omaha is finally handing over the reins.
I bet that was a tough decision. So who is this Greg Abel? And what do we know about him?
Well, he comes from Berkshire Hathaway Energy, the company's massive energy subsidiary. So he's got experience managing, complex businesses. He's known for his operational expertise and his understanding of how to, make things run smoothly.
So a different background from Buffett, who's primarily an investor. This is where things get really interesting.
It certainly raises some intriguing questions. Will Abel continue Buffett's, legacy of value investing? Will he bring his own unique approach to managing this vast and diverse empire?
Will he be able to navigate the complexities of the global economy and the ever-changing landscape of, business?
Yeah, it's a story of, adaptation and innovation, and this unwavering belief in the power of long-term value creation.
Almost like a masterclass in business strategy, played out on a global scale.
Yeah, precisely. And one of the most interesting things about this story is Buffett's steadfast resistance to splitting Berkshire Hathaway stock. We talked about this a little earlier, but it's worth digging a little deeper, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Remind me again, why wouldn't he want to make the stock more accessible to everyday investors?
Well, Buffett has argued that keeping that share price high, it acts as a kind of barrier to entry.
Right.
It discourages short-term speculation, and it attracts investors who align with his, long-term vision.
So it's not about exclusivity. It's about curating a community of shareholders who get it.
Yeah.
Who understand and appreciate Berkshire Hathaway's unique approach.
Exactly. It's about finding investors who are less interested in those quick profits and more interested in, building something that lasts. It's about shared values, really.
That makes sense. But it also makes me wonder about the future, especially now with Greg Abel taking over. How might his leadership style differ from Buffett's, and what implications could that have on, like, Berkshire Hathaway's trajectory?
Well, that's one of the biggest questions looming over the company right now. Abel's background is in operations, in like building and managing businesses, which contrasts with, Buffett's focus on investment strategy.
Right, so could we see a shift in focus? Perhaps a more, a hands-on approach to managing those different businesses under the Berkshire Hathaway umbrella?
It's certainly a possibility. Abel's experience with Berkshire Hathaway Energy, it suggests he's, comfortable taking a more active role in shaping the businesses he oversees.
Yeah, that could be a significant departure from Buffett's, like, famously decentralized management style.
Right, could be. Buffett has always believed in giving his managers a high degree of autonomy, trusting them to run their businesses with, minimal interference.
But, like, could Abel's operational background lead him to take a more centralized approach, seeking to, like, streamline operations or leverage synergies across those different companies?
It's a question only time will answer, but it's worth noting that Abel has been, carefully groomed for this role. He's been a part of Berkshire Hathaway for over 2 decades. He understands the company's, culture, and he's earned Buffett's trust.
So even if there are, like, shifts in management style, we can probably expect, a certain degree of continuity in terms of the company's overall values and that long-term vision.
Yeah, that seems likely. After all, Berkshire Hathaway's success is, deeply intertwined with those principles that Buffett's championed for decades. It's hard to imagine, those being completely abandoned.
But even with that strong foundation and a clear set of values navigating the future, well, it won't be easy.
Right.
The world is changing fast, and Berkshire Hathaway will face, new challenges and opportunities under Abel's leadership.
Absolutely. Globalization, technological disruption, climate change, political instability. These are just some of the forces that will shape the business landscape in the years to come.
Yeah, it's a lot to juggle. How might those forces impact, like, Berkshire Hathaway's diverse portfolio of businesses? Some might be, more vulnerable to disruption than others.
That's a crucial point. Some of those companies that have been stalwarts for Berkshire Hathaway, like, J.I. Co. in the insurance sector, they may face increasing pressure from upstarts using technology to disrupt those traditional business models.
Right, we're seeing that across so many industries these days.
Yeah.
So could we see Abel making, like, strategic moves to adapt to those changes? Perhaps, investing in more tech-focused companies, or even divesting from businesses that are, becoming less competitive.
It's certainly within the realm of possibility. Abel has already shown, a willingness to embrace innovation, particularly in the energy sector, with Berkshire Hathaway Energy's investments in renewable energy sources.
That's a good line. It suggests he's not afraid to evolve and adapt to those changing times. But let's not forget about the political landscape. Berkshire Hathaway's, like, massive holdings and influence, it means it's inevitably entangled in political debates.
And regulatory changes. That's right. From, energy policy to trade agreements to tax reform, political decisions can have a significant impact on Berkshire Hathaway's bottom line. And navigating those political waters, it'll be a key test for Abel's leadership.
Yeah, it's a high-stakes game for sure. But amidst all those potential challenges, there are also, like, exciting opportunities for Berkshire Hathaway to leverage its strengths and shape the future.
Absolutely. The company's financial resources, its reputation for integrity, and it's a long-term perspective. It gives it a real unique advantage in a world that often seems, obsessed with short-term gains and quick fixes.
It's almost like Berkshire Hathaway is a beacon of stability and a sea of volatility.
That's a great analogy. And that stability is a valuable asset. In uncertain times, investors are drawn to companies that can weather storms and deliver those consistent results. And Berkshire Hathaway has a proven track record of, doing just that.
It's a story that's far from over. As we move into this new chapter with Greg Abel at the helm, we'll be watching closely to see how he navigates the complexities of the global business landscape, the evolving political arena, and that, ever-present pressure to adapt and innovate.
It's a fascinating case study in, leadership, succession planning, and that enduring power of a well-defined business philosophy. And it's a story that holds, valuable lessons for anyone who's interested in building a business, managing a portfolio, or just simply understanding those forces that shape our world.
Yeah, it's a story that reminds us that even the most successful companies, they're constantly evolving, responding to new challenges and, seizing those new opportunities.
Yeah.
And that's a lesson we can all apply in our own lives, whether we're running a business, managing our finances, or just trying to, navigate a world that's in constant flux.
Absolutely. It's about being open to new ideas, being willing to adapt, and never losing sight of those values that guide our decisions.
Yeah, it's inspiring to see a company that's not just chasing profits. They're building something that's really built to last. It makes you think about the kind of legacy we all want to leave behind.
It really does. It's about creating value that extends beyond the balance sheet, value that benefits, employees, communities, even future generations.
It's about making a positive impact on the world,
Yeah.
not just making a quick buck. And that brings us back to Greg Abel and the question of how his leadership might shape that impact.
It's fascinating to think about the possibilities. Will he double down on, Berkshire Hathaway's existing strengths? Or will he kind of steer the company in new and unexpected directions?
I mean, he's got big shoes to fill, that's for sure. But he also has an incredible opportunity, right, to build on Buffett's legacy and chart a new course for the company in a rapidly changing world.
And that's what makes this story so compelling. It's a story of continuity and change, of tradition and innovation, of the, enduring power of values, and the need to adapt to new realities.
It's a story that reminds us that even the most successful companies are constantly evolving, responding to new challenges and seizing new opportunities. And that's a lesson we can all apply in our own lives,
Yeah.
whether we're running a business, managing our, finances, or just trying to navigate a world that's in constant flux.
Absolutely. It's about being open to new ideas, being willing to, adapt, and never losing sight of the values that guide our decisions.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Berkshire Hathaway, here's a final thought to ponder. Imagine you had the opportunity to sit down with Greg Abel and ask him one question about the future of Berkshire Hathaway. What would it be?
Ooh, that's a great question to leave our listeners with. It really forces us to think critically about the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead for this, iconic company.
And it reminds us that the story of Berkshire Hathaway is far from over. It's a story that will continue to unfold in the years to come, shaped by the decisions of its leaders, the forces of the global economy, and the ever-evolving needs of the world around us.
It's a story worth following, for sure. A story that, holds valuable insights for anyone who's interested in the world of business, finance, and the enduring power of a well-defined vision.
And that's it for our deep dive into Berkshire Hathaway, the company that Warren Buffett built and that Greg Abel will now lead into the future. We hope you've enjoyed this journey through the world of value investing, long-term thinking, and the remarkable legacy of one of the world's most admired companies. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay tuned for more fascinating deep dives into the companies and ideas that are, shaping our world.